Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
We're calling this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, may I ask that you take roll?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Supervisor Stewart.
Here.
Supervisor Galvin joined us remotely. Supervisor Galvin.
Good morning. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Vice Chair Lesko.
Here.
Supervisor Gallardo remotely. Can you hear us now, Supervisor Gallardo?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I am pulling in, so I'll stay on the phone until I get there.
Chair Brophy McGee.
Here.
Thank you.
So we have every board member in attendance. We will move on to statutory hearings. The Hopi Vista Irrigation Water Delivery District, the Tolson Farms 1 Irrigation Water Delivery District, and the Tolson Farms 2 Irrigation Water Delivery District. And Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed in to speak on any of these items?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I did not receive any speaker forms here for this meeting. I do have a form from Mr. Aaron Herrera. He is a proponent and in favor for the Tolson Farms IWDDs. He's here to speak and answer any questions if necessary. We did receive, Madam Chair, 2 written comments in opposition. One is from Ann Bynum and Mr. Randy Lowery. That is all that we received on these items.
Okay, so thank you, Madam Clerk. We have 2 Tolson Farms, Tolson Farms 1 and Tolson Farms 2. Do the speakers pertain to either or both?
I'm sorry, the 2 written comments in opposition are in regards to Tolson Farms 2.
Okay.
That is item number 3.
So where do we stand on Tolson Farms 1 in terms of anyone wishing to speak?
I do not have any speaker forms on this item.
That gets us there. So I am going to pull item 3 for separate consideration. And I would ask Madam Vice Chair for a motion on items 1 and items 2, Hopi Vista and Tolson Farms 1.
And so is Tolson Farms 1, is that number 3 or number 2?
Tolson Farms 1 is number 2.
Okay, thank you.
And those are the irrigation districts with no support or opposition, their consent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move that I move that we approve item number 1 and item number 2.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments from the board? Hearing none, we will proceed to a vote. All members who wish, vote aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Now we will proceed to the petition for formation of Tolson Farms 2 Irrigation Water Delivery District. Would any member of the board desire kind of a history lesson from Lori Madaris, who is, I call her the mother hen of our irrigation districts? Would any member care for an update or information on that?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, no, if it's possible, since there is, and unfortunately, I mean, I did not get this, apparently it wasn't filed until at the last minute, so we really haven't had a chance to deep dive in it,
Yes.
the concerns.
Yes.
I haven't even had a chance to even talk to those that may be opposed. I'm very familiar with Herrera family and many of the folks that live in the proposed irrigation district, very familiar with the area. But if Lori can kind of real quickly kind of go just a quick overview and maybe some of the concerns, hopefully they were addressed. It's my understanding that there's been some conversations with the the individual opposing the irrigation district, but I didn't know if all their answers had been addressed.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. I will therefore call Ms. Madaris to the front, which, have a seat. And for the audience, if you would be so kind to introduce yourself and your duties in this regard.
Good morning, Board. I'm Lori Medeiros with the Clerk of the Board's office, and I oversee all special taxing districts and their functions.
Thank you very much for being here. Can you talk us through the history and the organization and the, how many times have they been opposed? And just kind of walk us through it, please.
Okay, most IWDDs, which is what we mainly deal with, are approved if the majority of signatures, all the requisitions, or the requirements are met. In this case, they are. I spoke in length with Ms. Bynum today. Her main concerns were the ability of the proposed board, who will be appointed if the formation is approved, their ability to set any kind of budget up to however $1 million they would like. I explained to her that I'm sure that that would not, it could happen, but they have to hold a public meeting to approve the budgets, even the IWDDs. I explained to her that there would be quite a bit of opposition if that were to happen. And I also explained to her how annual reports that are turned in yearly dictate or show or indicate what funds are spent in the previous year versus what they budgeted. She didn't know that. And then I explained that she gets a chance to hear what monies they want to spend in the coming year. She seemed content with that. She didn't know that. She was concerned because she had not gotten a written letter from our office for this hearing for the petitions. And unfortunately, it's not a requirement of statute that we send individual letters to homeowners for the petition hearing, just for the impact statement hearing, which is the first one.
Okay.
So Mr. Lowry, he's happy with the status quo. He thinks everything has been going along for 30 years, I believe is what his. And another thing is Ms. Bynum does not take irrigation. So there's always that question of why does they have to pay taxes if they don't take irrigation water. And the explanation I've been given through several attorneys and SRP and all is that if someone was excluded from the district and say they sat in the middle of the distribution line, if that should break, the district would not be able to go in and fix it, which could invariably affect users downstream. So, and water rights and all that. So if they have the ability to, whether they are hooked into it or not, if they have the ability to tap into that line, they are included in the district for tax purposes.
Thank you. Are there questions from board members? Let me start with Supervisor Gallardo. Any questions or
Madam
comments?
Chair. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So it is do we know how many, I guess, lots or how many homes are within this irrigation district?
Yes,
Do we
sir.
know that? Like how?
It's 84, 85. I believe it's 85.
And what is there? It's my understanding, and I might be wrong. I thought the annual assessment is around $80 a year. Is that correct? Am I wrong?
Yes, sir.
I don't know why 80 sticks in my mind.
Yes, sir. They usually run between $50 to $100 per 100 acres. Yes. No, I'm sorry. Usually runs about $80 to $100 per acre because IWDDs are taxed on a per acre basis, which usually is, I think they, like on a monthly, if you spread out monthly, it's just like a few dollars. That is not what the Tolson Farms suggested budget was on their impact statement. I don't have that information right before me, but they were
Thank you.
they were going to be charged $74.99 per acre if they passed, and that's per year.
For
So
property.
for property,
Okay.
and that's on an average a lot size of 0.929. So that's on a property size of almost an acre.
Okay.
So they are charged per acre once a year. And I've never seen a new district higher than $11,000 for their initial budget. And,
How
well,
long have you been doing, handling water districts?
14 years.
11,000 total?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because when they start out, they don't want a big tax number to hit their tax bill because that scares people. So they do, when they're being formed, they do pay very close attention to how much it's going to be per year for each property owner.
Thank you. Supervisor Gallardo?
Yes, one more question, and I don't know if this is something that Mr. Herrera can answer. I wish I probably something I should know, but currently, right now, without the irrigation district, who maintains the irrigation system? Should something go wrong, like something happened to the irrigation district or the irrigation system, who maintains it? Who pays for it? Who pays to fix it? Someone has to pay for it. Is it the city of Tolleson? Who pays for it? Or the county? I would imagine the county maybe, but who pays for it?
No, sir. It is paid for by the property owners. They usually go door to door, knocking on doors, asking for a donation to help make the repair. As the lines age, which I understand these are about 50 or 60 years old, as they age, they tend to break down. So there's more and more repairs that have to be made. And in that case, it's getting harder and harder for people to donate. And plus, it's very, not all property owners donate, so only a few are paying for the repairs, those that will, because they want the lines to run properly.
And Madam Chair, just a quick, thank you, Lori. Just a quick comment. You know, I'm very familiar with the area. I know it well. I know a lot of the families that are there. Haven't had any type of response or notification by any of the families there of their opposition. I know they did a presentation a while back in front of the city council, kind of an information hearing, and for the families that come and learn more about it. Again, no opposition at that time. You know, I think this is something I would be totally supportive of. This is something that is needed. You have a system here that is going to eventually break, like anything else. You know, you have to have it repaired. You have to have it maintained. And I think it's more cost effective to the residents to do kind of the prefixes before something really bad happens. So I think there's a lot of folks that that have signed on to support it. I think it's something that is needed. There has to be a way to maintain the irrigation district. You just can't have an irrigation district with no revenue source to maintain it, and it does impact the entire community. It does. Ain't no one's exempt from it. And so I would hate to have something worse happen, and you have really a really bad situation at that point. But nonetheless, Madam Chair, I think it is something that I would support there in the Tolleson Farms area.
Thank you, Supervisor, for your comments, which will be taken heavily into consideration. Are there questions? Vice Chair Lesko.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to share with you that I have flood irrigation at my house, and so we do not have a water district. And so what happens is, my house is 1974. I don't know how long these water pipes have been there, but some of the neighbors have leaks, right? They have leaks, and then they don't fix them. And it affects my yard or my neighbor's yards because then the water doesn't flow to your yards. And so what ends up happening is some generous neighbor, sometimes I don't even know who they are because they're not even living on my street, decides that they're going to just pay for it to be repaired. I don't even know who did it this last time. It happened recently. And all of a sudden it got fixed. Somebody paid for it. But it's really not fair to that person that's always like paying to fix this. So my understanding is then they form these, they decide, the neighbors get together, and I want confirmation. This is my question part. Yes. The neighbors get together and they're like, hey, it's not fair that this one person always pays to get this thing fixed. We really need to get all together, form a water district, and then they, the way that these people were named as trustees, that was on the petition, correct?
The impact
yes.
statement.
Okay, and then they charge property taxes, correct?
Yes.
They charge property taxes to maintain the water system. And so I guess my question, I forgot the answer to it, of these 85 homes or property owners that are in this district, what percentage of them have to sign on in support of this?
50% plus one.
Okay, so a majority. So a majority, and in this case, a majority signed on.
Yes.
And of the people that didn't sign on, we had 2 people that have publicly come out and said they're opposed to it. The first one you spoke to, Ms. Bynan, and her concern, I just want to confirm I heard you right, her concern was that this district will start charging really high property taxes, correct?
Correct.
And then you said, well, you have to have like meetings of there has to be a, what is the rules on that? There has to be a public meeting?
They have to hold, the IWDDs are only required to meet once a year.
Okay.
They can meet more, but they are only required once a year, and that is to approve the annual budget. They are supposed to hold a public meeting, have it posted, and, all the requirements there. And that gives the people of the neighborhood an opportunity to come in and see what they're wanting to spend and how they're wanting to spend it, and give their opinions on whether that's reasonable or not. They are kept in check because as long as I have been doing this, and I think way before, we require an annual report from every district except those exempt by law. This annual report tells what's been spent and what's not. And so that has to be reported. If they reach 50,000 on their budget, they then have to have a review or an audit. And that's what helped Ms. Bynan realize that they're not just out there spending money how they wanted, that there's, I said, so if you get a real high budget, they're going to be having an audit or a financial review, and that's statutory.
Okay, and as you were talking about this, I think I have to correct what I said about my neighborhood. It wasn't if a particular neighbor had a leak, because they have to cover the cost of that themselves, I think. I think it was at the box. It was a problem at the box that affected everybody. And so I want to correct that. But also in this case of Tolleson Farms 2, they have these 3 people that are called trustees. Are they the ones that vote on the budget?
Yes.
Okay. And so then they'll have a public meeting, and so then a majority of these folks, so 2 out of the 3 have to vote for the budget, correct?
Correct.
Which then sets the property tax rate for all the homeowners, correct?
Yes.
All the 85. All right, thank you. And in this case, it's in District 5, and Mr. Gallardo supports this. He knows the neighborhood, and so I will be supporting it.
Thank you. Supervisor Stewart or Supervisor Galvin, any comments or questions?
No, Madam Chair.
This is Tom Galvin. I don't have any comments or questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, super quick. Is there a member of the proposed board here present? Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, yes, Mr. Aaron Herrera is here, a proponent.
Okay, that's who I thought. May we hear brief testimony from you, sir, about this, the proposed water district? I do have a few questions because I do have an email from Ms. Bynan that I think is, I think there may be some misconceptions in there. May I ask you to step to the lectern, please? Not to put you on the spot,
No,
but
it's
you're
okay.
here. Can you speak to this?
Yes, I'm
issue?
Aaron Herrera. I live in, I actually have property in both districts, so I have interest in both. My parents live in 2 and I live in 1, but I own half of their property.
Okay.
So what would you like me to speak on?
State your name for the record.
Aaron Herrera, yes.
And you are a member of the board.
Well, so I am not on that board.
Okay.
I'm an elected official for Salt River Project as well as my dad.
Apologies, sir.
No worries at all. And that's how I kind of got information on this.
Thank you.
And I selected 3 members on 1 and 3 members on 2. I grew up there, so I kind of knew who's involved and who would be good for this. I understand there's an election every 2 years, correct?
Yes.
So when that time comes, we can have, if someone else is interested in, we'll have the election and then they can get involved.
Okay.
However, it's true, someone upstream, if their canal breaks, SRP is only is responsible up to the gate. All the canals downstream are the property owners.
Right.
So if one of those canals, the panels break, goes into a yard and it starts flooding his home or whatever, SRP shuts it off and then everybody else downstream suffers.
Oh.
So in our neighborhood, we have big citrus trees, big pecan trees. In the summer, if we miss a couple irrigations, which is every 2 weeks, it really hurts, our vegetation. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I started this with SRP, and they have a really great system with this. And she's right. I didn't want to have a number to fix everything, and it's $200 a year. And then people say, wait a minute, Like when I first moved into my home, I actually redid my panels just because that's what we did growing up. And I see there's a lot of different people in the neighborhood. So anyway, I try to figure out a number that we could fix certain panels and maybe a gate every year, certain footages of panels, whatever. And then one of the guys in this district, he's actually an SRP retiree that worked on the water side. So I thought he'd be a perfect fit. And we also have another gentleman, his neighbor, that is the supervisor of the Zanjeros for SRP. So it's really, I know there was opposition that how do you know what it would cost, this and that. So I was a construction inspector for 20 years. And so I kind of know the field. Mm-hmm. These guys know the water side of it. So I thought that's a good fit. This is the numbers we kind of came up with. And the one thing I would like to say is, it's not just ditches. There's underground sections in the roadway that is basically public property, in the city right away, but the city's not responsible for fixing the pipe, just the roadway.
Okay.
So, and then there are some neighbors behind me that are underground pipe as well.
Okay.
So I explained to them, if it breaks in your yard, this could get pretty pricey, where this would help with those costs.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your insights into this. Long ago and far away, I read a book, The Garlic Testament, talked about this exact issue. Do board members, starting with Supervisor Gallardo, have any other questions or comments in this regard?
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just real quickly, Aaron, and this is, I mean, this is not, I'm just curious. Why two separate irrigation districts, Tolson 1, Tolson 2? Why not just have one irrigation district with, under Tolson irrigation district? Why the two separate?
Great question. Because where SRP delivers it to the community, it's at two separate gates. So the northern gate feeds basically, I don't know if you're familiar with Lillian Lane North,
Yes.
all the way to the edge of the development. And then the other gate on the south side feeds, it would be the east side of Krista Way, and then everything south of Lillian into the half acres. And that's just the way it's set up, the system's set up through SRP.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Aaron.
I hear no other, and thank you. Oh, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Aaron, for your expertise on this. I do have a question. Once a water district is formed, does the property taxes of that then cover individual homeowners if their pipes break?
I think what it goes to is, yes, but the board, the committee, the three-member board would have to vote on that, I believe, or try to approve that to use that money.
All right. Yeah, because in the case that we had recently, it was like a shared, like a box that there was some defects. So it's like SRP said, you guys have to pay for it.
Yes.
But there are people like in my neighborhood that have like leaks in their yard. So it affects the water flow of everybody else. Anyway, just curious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Unless you have any other comments, I think we're good.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, has anybody else signed in or wishing to speak?
Madam Chair, no other speakers.
Okay. That being said, Supervisor Gallardo, we would entertain a motion on agenda item number 3, Tolson Farms 2.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I would be honored to make a motion on item number 3, the petition hearing for the formation of Tolson Farms 2 Irrigation Water Delivery District.
Thank you. Motion for approval, Supervisor Gallardo. Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All members in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. And thank you, everyone who participated this morning. We appreciate the education.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that being said, our special board meeting is adjourned, and we will reconvene at 11:30 in the Sullivan Conference Room for executive session. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.